Hello, footies. Welcome along to your latest dose of football ultimate team goodness. We are FUT in Review, powered by footcoaching.com. My name is Dan Wimbush, otherwise known as Wimby. It is Tuesday, the 24th of September, 2024. The Tuesday Club back in session. I'm delighted to be joined by Nathan Downs, the scout, and my main man, Shaq and Nath. Loads to get through. We're going to go through our kind of first few days on the game, our thoughts on all the things like player roles, rush, some of the things we've loved, some of the things we've hated, menus, and much, much more. So, gentlemen, how are the two of you? Starting with you, Shaq.
Oh, doing really well. The game is what the game is. It's fine. It's day 4 or day 3 of the game, or day 4 of the game. There's ups and there's downs. So, okay so far.
Nath, it doesn't feel like it's been 4 or 5 days. It feels like we've already been playing this game for about 3 weeks.
It does. It feels like it's been out for a while, and that's me that's not played over the weekend either, so I've had less game time, but enjoying it so far. I think there's obviously things that we said in the last pod where we were sitting on the fence about, and there's things looking good, some things looking not so good, but just keep reminding myself that it's the very start of a game, so that I think that's more of it. It's a mental thing.
Yeah, you've been able to pull all those splinters out of your backside from the last pod, because there was a lot of fencing going on, so I was worried for your welfare.
I did have to ask the wife to get the splinters out, I'm not going to lie, to get the tweezers and pull them.
Excellent. Well, look, loads to get into. Before we start, of course, hopefully you have all heard by now, our daily shows are back. So on the days we're not doing major shows, remember we do a major show that's recorded on a Tuesday and Friday, released on Wednesday and Saturday. Every other day of the midweek, we release a daily show, and John and Ingvi released the first one of those, and they just rounded up all of the content. So, gents, we don't have that to go through. So the likes of Garcia, all of the SBCs and objectives. If you want a detailed opinion on that, go check out John and Ingvi's show that was released first thing Tuesday morning. And of course, remember, if you're a Patreon member at patreon.com/FUT-in-review, you get the show as soon as it is edited. So we're recording this about 2:00 on Tuesday. You'll probably get this by sort of tea time on Tuesday night. And the rest of you get it Wednesday morning. So another great reason to subscribe and, helps us out. Look, I'm not going to shy away from this. We love it when we see somebody donate some money. It helps so many different things, not just our well-being, but helps fund equipment, resource, and all that jazz. So get involved if you fancy that. Right, let's move on then. First few days, kind of get to grips with it. The big new thing, the big unknown, gents, was Rush. I know the guys on Friday touched on this a little bit, but, John, funnily enough, talking about it after playing in a game with the three of us. He didn't give us any credit, though, on the show, did he?
No.
Kept us out of it.
I thought that as well. I did. He didn't mention us.
Do you think he was a bit ashamed of us?
I can believe that, because he messaged me a few times about not passing to him, and yeah, there's a reason for that.
Unbelievable. Look, to me, Rush is a very Jekyll and Hyde mode. As John said, when we were all playing together, I thought it was amongst the most fun I've had playing a football game since literally getting all my mates on the sofa and us playing like Pez together, because it was just such a laugh. Even when people are missing chances and you're getting caught on the counters, it just doesn't matter. You don't have that gutted feeling. It was just pure enjoyment of the game. And I think that bit is fantastic. Then I had the other side when I was like, I'm only 8,000 points away from getting this 84 double pack. I'll just drop in with some randoms because you guys weren't available. And oh my word, is it an absolute mess out there of people that are either selfish, that are just unfortunately at a lower skill level, or it's just a complete mismatch. So, I mean, Shaq, is that a fair summation of Rush and anything you want to add?
Oh, I think you're completely spot on. The best fun is with some friends. If you're playing with some friends, it's really good fun. But by yourself in the drop-in games, it's really hit and miss. I really had some really good luck at the start of the game where I had really good players playing with me, and everyone was going back and defending and passing and scoring together, assisting. And something happened, and for the past maybe 48 hours, it's just been really frustrating. It's been extremely frustrating to even get those points, and luckily I matched up with some friends this afternoon, and yeah, I got my points done for the pack, and it was I had a lot of fun. It's a great mode with friends.
Nath, I already feel like this mode is teetering on a kind of a precipice, because already you're seeing some frustrations from people that are like, because you get to pick players and fill up the objective bonuses. And there are people that are very keen and getting angry that people aren't picking players for that to maximize points. And then there are other people that are like, this is where I'm coming to chill out and have fun. Like, I just want to play with whoever I want to play with. Do you think that EA should go down the route of making Rush a bit more structured, a bit more rewards driven, or should they almost lean as far away from that as possible, Nathan? Just kind of keep it very casual.
I quite like the rewards. Everyone plays the game for rewards, whether you say you do or don't. Everybody likes to get a decent pack at the end of playing it, so I'm quite happy for that. I do wish they would change the communication buttons at the bottom, so those of you that haven't played it, it's like sorry, unlucky, thanks, and nice. They should probably be saying pass, pass now. Why didn't you pass? GG. I think that would probably be the best one. But I like it. I quite like the fact it is like at the moment it's 79 rated, so you are playing with players that you wouldn't normally have. It's a little bit rubbish that it's untradables only, because I've got a lot of tradables, not through buy-in, but the players that I'd want to test out and you can't. So that does make the reward sort of bonus points a little bit more challenging, because I don't have a lot of untradables. So as with you guys, I was using Callum McGregor for a lot, who's naff and doesn't really tick any boxes, but he was pretty much the only player that you could use that wasn't running backwards. But I like it. I think it's got a lot of potential. I just hope they don't neglect it like they kind of have done with moments. I hope they keep driving it forward, and it could be really good fun.
Yeah, I was using Bisek for our games and use him whenever I can, just an absolute monster at the back. And I'm just someone that just generally likes that. I mean, I'm a goalkeeper by trade, but I just love playing with a defender and just doing the mop up. And I think John was talking about that on Friday's show as well. Nathan, I'm kind of with you. I do like that there is a bit of reward in there. And I think as long as they keep the rewards very much based around just playing matches and try and take it away from having to get a certain amount of wins and things like that, I think the game mode will be fresh. I worry that if they completely take away the rewards, it'll be completely casual, but I think it will be dead like Volta within weeks. And because it's that gap between regular play and clubs, isn't it?
Can I just ask a question about Rush? Would you prefer the way they have it with untradables only, or would you prefer that you could just buy whoever you want off the market? Because if that happened, literally within maybe 3-4 days, everyone will be, this is the most meta player you can use in Rush, and literally every game you come up will be those 4 or 5 players. And even the team that you're playing with use those 3-4 players, and it'll just become the same sort of situation. Whereas now you get a variety of players in Rush.
I'd like the shackles off, or just as an alternative, can EA fix the player select option to filter out all the players I can't use? Because it wastes, and maybe there already is, maybe I'm just being a complete noob. So maybe there's someone shouting at their radio or their monitor right now saying, duh, there's a way you can do that. But right now I go to search a player, then click on it, and it's like, it's a tradable player, you can't use it. It's a first owned player. I've packed that player. Yeah. I think they should open it up. I can see the point though, because John was talking about this on Friday, wasn't he? Like, I was already facing loads of, whatever it was, Hullets and
Neymar.
Yeah, exactly. So I see both sides of the coin, but I think so far our general view on Rush is great. Please, if you are someone that's picking up the game this Friday when it's released around the world, you've not paid for the Ultimate Edition, give Rush a go. It is so fun. And I said, especially if you can get a couple of mates, maybe it's a couple of people, because remember, you get a trial on EA Play as well. So if you've got mates that haven't played the game for a little while, maybe just encourage them to take up the trial and just get. So, there's a couple of casual mates I've got that I'm trying to desperately tempt back, saying you will have fun on this mode. Like, I can't sit there with a straight face and say, oh, you'll love Ultimate Team. But I can sit there and say Rush is a good laugh just to play for an hour or two in the evening. So Rush, 2 thumbs up. We go from 2 thumbs up to 2 thumbs, and I wish I was an octopus, so I had more thumbs. Not that octopus have thumbs. The menus, gentlemen. Have you ever known a FC, a FIFA release to be so buggy menu-wise from launch, Nath?
It's proper laggy, isn't it? There's issues with even claiming objectives, with going to the store, so it keeps crashing. Even just selecting sort of consumables. I can't actually pronounce that, but yeah, it does seem super laggy, and it's strange because the layout in the whole is very similar to last year, so it makes you wonder kind of what's gone on to drop it like that. Luckily for me, I've been focusing more on gameplay than menus, but it's just little things like that don't seem a lot can really cause frustration.
Yeah, and Shaq as well. The differences between the companion app and the console and the web app are all, like, where do I find my SPC storage on the companion app? I can't even claim objectives on the companion app right now. It very much feels like, almost like this is the beta stage of it, even though it's a full pre-release.
The only, I'm just holding judgment because the full game releases on Friday. I know we paid more and we pre-ordered the game, but if these things are not fixed by Friday, it's just a complete letdown because, okay, fair enough, you don't want to give up people an advantage at this point in time. Or the fact that the objectives are catering for even career mode and pro clubs and things, so maybe they can't have it on the companion. I don't really know why they don't have it on the companion app, but it's been there forever and a day. So
Yeah, and the mistakes are already piling up. Again, we mentioned Rush. They've already had it where they wanted to launch a mode for high-rated, low-paced strikers. And what did? They released the objectives the wrong way round. So instead of having max 74 pace and 84 rated strikers, I think they got it the other way round with 85 pace strikers up to 74 or something like that. I can't remember the exact numbers. I just know it was the wrong way around. They had to take the Rush mode down because it didn't work to start with. But of course, as they mentioned on Friday, we had the fact you couldn't buy packs with FIFA points for a while, which was absolutely bizarre. And there's been one other mistake, which is completely, I've made the mistake here because I've forgotten what it is. But I mean, Nath, it's worrying that the mistakes are already creeping into this game.
Yeah, it is. And how many times have we sat over the last couple of years sort of going on about the list of mistakes? And sometimes we try and give EA the benefit of the doubt, but with things like this, it's just ridiculous to have it so many so early on. If you've got 3 or 4 sort of semi noticeable mistakes already, then hopefully it's teething issues and they get them out the way now, and then full release comes and it's smooth sailing. So I don't believe that'll happen, but we can but hope.
Yeah, I remember what the other one was now. It was Rivals matchmaking was down for a few hours the other night as well, so you couldn't play Rivals. So yeah, great start from EA. I think if we had one of those mistake counters of days, that days accident thing, I think it would be once again pretty much at 0. If we were doing a totalizer, it would all, little thermometer would already be going up and up and up. Never mind. As we say, we're still in pre-release, so fingers crossed they get their act together and sorted quickly. That's, again, some negatives. I think overall, though, gents, my experience on this game has been positive. Gameplay, I'm giving a tentative thumbs up to. I mean, Shaq, your overall thoughts on kind of the main gameplay sort of outside of Rush, your Rivals and whatnot?
look, it's the good thing is it's a different game. It's not the same game as we had last year. At least that's not my experience. Some of the things that I'm trying to do are just not working the way they used to last year, which is a good thing. It's a different game. It's a new game, so it feels fresh. It is a bit slow, but yeah, it's just about getting used to it as well. I think I'll reserve judgment until I play it for at least a good 10, 15, maybe 20 days and see how I feel after that. It's different. The gameplay is enjoyable. I'm quite enjoying the gameplay. I'm really enjoying the tactical side of things. It was very confusing and daunting at first, but once I understood what they actually stand for, and the key thing is they actually seem to work the way they've laid it out in the description. It is doing that. I'll give you an example. Today I had a striker on false 9, so he was coming back and trying to grab the ball from just the midfield or whatever, and then I changed the same striker to a poacher, and I pulled him out to get the ball, and as soon as I let go of him and control someone else, he went darting back into the forward line. So those are small little tweaks that you can do, and it's the same player as well. So it does work, and that kind of, I mean, yeah, sure, I lost the game, but at least that part really excited me. So it's the small little wins that we get in the game. It's just, yeah, I'm enjoying that experience.
Yeah, Nath, what's been your kind of feeling so far on the whole new FCIQ, the new tactical setups and all the kind of little options and the minutiae you can get into? Are you enjoying having that kind of level of creative freedom, or do you find it a little bit overwhelming?
I'm enjoying it now. To begin with, I wasn't enjoying it because I basically just did everything to get the players on plus plus in the roles. So that meant that I had both fullbacks going really high. I had a pull play in centre half and a stopper, which meant they were also going very high. Everyone was basically pushing forward. But once you kind of get used to it, get your head around it, it's really good. It's really clever. I kind of realised within myself that actually plus plus is nice, but even if I just have the basic on it, it'll still do a better job than, the wrong tactics with the wrong player or the right plays and the wrong tactics type thing. So it's a lot to get your head into. I don't think it's straightforward. I don't think EA have made it particularly straightforward from the off, but once you take a bit of time to delve into it, I think it's really good. And like Shaq said, they do the roles that they're supposed to do. It's different with the human behind it controlling it. In my case, I'm still very, very open, but on you go, Shaq.
The only thing I want to add to that is the fact that the first couple of times you probably would have faced the same thing where you build the tactics on the app or on the companion app, and you have no idea what it's actually doing until you actually look at the thing on screen in the game, which is kind of silly because you want to see the same sort of level of detail when you're doing it on the app, which so that you can understand how you're setting things up. So it needs to change. We can't have the app the exact same way we have it right now.
Yeah,
I do really like.
Sorry, go on.
I do really like how they do show you like the heat map almost of in possession and without the ball as well. I think that's tremendous. So then, you hear all these content creators saying out of possession it defends in a 4-4-2 or 5-4-1 or whatever, and you kind of think, no, that's not right. But now you can actually kind of visualize what your tactics are trying to do. So I think that's a really clever little touch, and they didn't have to do that, but I think that's been sort of one of the wins.
Yeah, I was only going to add that one of my annoyances is if you change your default team setup around and stuff like that, the roles just seem to disappear. If you have tweaked your formation at any point, the default starting thing. So I need to kind of start building tactics further across on the D-pad either way, just in that attacking or defensive slot or whatnot, so I don't keep losing all my roles and stuff. But I'm a bit like you two. I'm going to reserve judgment so far. Most of my experience so far of FCIQ, I've been playing in Rivals co-op. I've played a lot with Nath here. I've played a handful of games solo, but I'm in Div 5, so I find it very, very hard to make a proper judgment of it because I'm playing such high-level opponents. I'm not sure if it's, a system's not working because it's not working, or is it just because I'm playing someone that's at a really high level. So, but I mean, overall, it's fine. I like the fact that it puts more of an emphasis on passing. I think through balls have been nerfed a little bit too hard. I think there are a lot of obvious passes that in every other FIFA title would make that aren't making. And I'm not even talking about using, kind of trash 75 rated players in Rush. I'm talking about using the likes of Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne, and they're not making passes that ordinarily they would. But I think that's, again, just more of a me mindset and training your brain to realize that, you're not using the best players, and there is a completely different style behind this. So that's going to take some getting used to. Another big win, squad battles. The fact they're down to 14 games a week and you're able to get elite in the space of a few hours is absolutely brilliant. So big thumbs up there. And the boosted rewards are really nice as well, Shaq.
Yeah, definitely. The rewards are really, really good. Like, I think no one expected the rewards to be, well, we all could see the rewards, but I don't think we exactly knew where we would end up because it was only 14 games and everyone assumed that you'll end up in a gold ranking. But I think a majority of the players that got early access, well, majority of the players that I've interacted with have ended up in elite or above. And some of the rewards were really, really fascinating. 85 plus tradable pack along with 75 into 10 pack. And I think Elite 2 rewards, you got 2 of those packs. So it's quite a lot of supply of stuff that came through. And it was pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Like I said, it's just nice and rewarding. I do feel a little bit sorry for those players that did like to primarily play offline. The fact that now they've only got 14 games a week that will count is a little bit annoying. And I think when we get into the territory as well of having to do lots of Evos as well, I quite enjoyed the fact that you had lots of meaningful squad battles games to get those done. Whereas now it'll be a case of if you don't want to play in a competitive mode, I mean, we'll see what they do with live FUT friendlies, but I am slightly worried. I do think maybe they should have raised that amount a little bit, maybe kind of towards 20. Anything else on kind of game modes, gameplay, anything you wanted to add, Nate? Oh, sorry.
No,
Go on, Shaq.
Oh, just the one thing I just want to you mentioned about the passing situation. I think I just really want to point out as well. I mean, I don't know if you've ever played against someone who's got a long ball pass in midfield, like a Patri that who went really high yesterday. I came across a Patri today while I was playing, and those long ball passes are really accurate, and they're what we don't have in the other players. And I think I haven't used a player with incisive passing as a playstyle plus, so I want to judge how through passes are on those kind of players, and even ping pass. I don't have anyone with the ping plus. I'm assuming the plus will take all these players to the next level, and I think not having the plus is probably hampering, which is a good thing. I mean, the game will progressively change, is what I'm thinking. So yeah.
Oh, me and Nath got long balled to death the other day, didn't we?
Yeah,
Didn't we?
It was get the ball and put it out wide straight away, and then
Yes!
into Mia Hamm and Peter Crouch, wasn't it?
Oh,
Which was infuriating. But no, the lobbed through ball seems to be super effective now, though. The little lob through ball over the last man seems to be a killer. It was quite interesting because we've got like a hosting channel on our Discord for all the hosts, and was having a bit of a chat with Talking FUT John about it because he was getting a bit frustrated, and it's just bearing in mind that it is the start of a new game. It's week 1. It is different to the last game, so
FUT coaching's top tip.
There we go, top tip. But it is basically just to remember that it is a new game. So, you might not be rushing to those 15 wins straight away. It is going to take time to, I was saying to him to express yourself and find formations, find players that work, find ways of building up and patterns of play that you like, and then it'll all come together. It's not all about rushing to 15 wins. And if you don't get that on week one, get your 5 wins in if you can, and then build it from there and get used to it. Because once it's on full release as well, there'll be a wider player pool of potentially less diehards coming in as well. So it's not all necessity to try and get 15 wins in one session or whatever. It's going to be frustrating, but there's lots and lots to sort of take in and adapt to in this game.
15 wins in one session.
Oh, goodness grief.
Bold aspirations there, my friend. I'm struggling. I've played a little bit every day, and I think I'm up to 8, maybe 8, 9 wins. And I'm looking at the clock, and because of my shift patterns and things like that, I'm going to struggle to get to 15 this week. But it's very hard, Shaq, to turn off that little voice in the back of your head that's like, grind your way to the rewards. The rewards will be very important. You must grind.
It's almost like you exactly knew what was going on in my head, because I started off with 2 wins. Getting a win was incredibly hard. Then I told myself, for this week, let me be kind to myself and let's just get 5 wins. I got the 5 wins, and the next thing is, you know what? Let's try for the 15. And I am grinding. I know it's not possible because I've got to go to work tomorrow and things, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just think you want to.
Yeah, I understand why EA have done this, and look, it's going to encourage more people to spend more time in the game, which is ultimately what they want. And for those who don't spend the time on the game, they will feel like, oh God, I've got to catch up. And where's the best way to catch up? It's the store. It's all a very calculated move. But I look at some of the rewards down in Div 6, Div 7, and a lot of people are talking about the fact that for 5 wins, even 15 wins, I think you're getting like loan players and things like that. And I think especially in the first couple of weeks of the game, that's really stingy, because the ability for people to climb up through those divisions in this early first couple of weeks is very tough.
I'll hold my... Absolutely. First thing I saw it, that's exactly what I thought. But then I'll just hold judgment, because if it's a loan that's, for a timed loan for maybe a week, that's massive right now. I know it's 86 plus as well. So if you have an 86 plus player that's timed loan for a week, that's not a bad thing at the start of the game.
No, I understand the whole kind of patience. And again, we don't want to see a rush through the power curve straight away and everybody building top teams before the whole game is even out. Because again, that's not exactly fair to those people that are picking up the game on Friday as well, and other people that don't have much time. So I do absolutely get that. As mentioned, Ingvi and John already went through the weekend's content, so we don't really have to talk in specifics about that. But I mean, Nath, what have you made of kind of the releases so far in terms of SBCs, objectives, and just kind of everything that we've been given and had the opportunity to do on the game?
Yeah, it's kind of taken its usual pattern, hasn't it? They've had some of the milestone players that come out, and they actually look fairly decent for this stage of the game. I know everyone's wanting those top sort of 86, 87, 88 rated players, but they look fairly nice if you can link them. And I'm a big fan. I know they've spoke about it, but that Alex Garcia I did today, and he comes in for Mighty Boeing, Kobe Mainu at halftime, and what a card for 20k! Like, that is unreal. Like, it's just so good. So I think the content's been all right. Haaland's obviously very expensive for this stage of the game, and I was half tempted to try and grind it, but I just don't think I want to commit, 600k or whatever he is to a player. But again, it's quite nice, but it's also nice it's a high price point, because you don't want everybody having that Haaland so early on as well. So I think they've done a solid job. Alaba, when I saw him and Danjuma come in, I did think it was a little bit copy and paste. I was a little bit disappointed with that, but I'm not enough to completely moan about it, because I'm a fan of Alaba. But again, I'm not putting 150k into that player. But I think it's been solid. It's probably been about a 7 out of 10 so far.
Yeah, Shaq, one of the things I've really liked is all of these different objectives and milestones and World Tour and things like that. It always seems like every couple of games in whatever mode you're playing, especially if you pay attention to those requirements, you're always picking up like a 75-3, a 78-2. And I just think it's been nice that there's been this kind of gradual, not overloading, but you've always had kind of something to look forward to without too much effort.
Definitely. I think at this stage of the game, one of the things I've really enjoyed is the packs that we're getting. Most of the packs seem to have whatever the walkout, and it's not really a walkout, but you know what I mean, with the tunnel coming through. And the hope is there for you to back someone that will just fit in your squad for a couple of days. So it's been enjoyable. It's not really crappy packs well, we did have a lot of crappy packs that were stadium customizations that really, I think, just got frustrated opening them. But the rest of the packs have been, and it's just the right amount as well, not too much, because you don't really want to get oversaturated with packs because, as you remember, at the end of 24, all we did was just open pack after pack after pack where nothing felt like anything. So let's just start slow and keep it a little slow for now.
I know both the two of you have young children. Are your young children fans of Bluey?
Yes.
I think I'm more of a fan, to be honest.
I mean, absolutely. So, Lucky's dad's rules with Pass the Parcel is what the whole new pack animation reminds me of. Because when you see that tunnel animation, it's like unwrapping the letter of the present and you think, I'm going to get something here. And it's like 80 rated generic CDM with 57 pace. And you're like in tears.
That's exactly right.
So yeah, the pack animation is very much Lucky's dad's rules where, you've got to toughen up and accept that you're not going to get a decent prize most of the time. I think there is a way to tell what the walkouts are. I know I know Ozio seems to know when the walkouts are. He hasn't spotted what the double walkouts are, but I quite like, as much as I just joke about that being teased in that way, I do kind of quite like it because you haven't got that instant straight away of, oh, I've got nothing. There is that hope.
Do you want me to ruin it for you, Dan?
No.
No. It's good. It's good this way. It's good. I'm enjoying every single pack and this few, so it's more enjoyable. Yeah.
Is it easy to tell, Nath, once you know what you're looking for?
I've missed a couple, but where to look, if you know what I mean. There's a certain thing that happens, and if you're looking in the right place, you notice it. The only one that I really dislike is every time I get Guendouzi, because he's the only player so far I can tell straight away, because he's got like that big build and the frizzy hair. And Guendouzi. He's the only one that I can really say, that's Guendouzi, let's skip now.
Good point.
Yeah, it took me a while to actually figure out that it was the actual player's body. It wasn't just a generic person walking down a tunnel. But yeah, look, if you want Nathan to tell you how to spot a walkout, why not join the Discord? It's absolutely free. Get a whole range of benefits just by being in the Discord. And then you get another level up. Again, as mentioned, by subscribing to Patreon, including early shows, access to exclusive shows, the art of FUT. We've been talking about tactics and roles and things. We've got an absolute tactical genius in our team, and I mean that word. Some of the formations things he's come up with and the way he plays, and he backs it up. He's already up into Div 4, and he himself says, look, I'm not releasing this until I've tested it up against the very best. And if you remember the Patreon, you get access to those tactics. And of course, remember, you can just enter a code this year as well. So that'll be even easier. So again, more reasons to sign up. I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion about Evos as well, gents. We've seen a steady stream so far. I'm very much liking the whole kind of flexible approach that we talked about in the preview show last week. It's nice to see them implement that so far. And there's already been some nice chains you can get going. Have either of you two jumped in on the Evo train yet? Shaq, start with you.
Yes, I made a mistake of going very early on one of the Evos and chose Talisca because I just was loving the gold card and I had Neymar and everything felt lovely and rosy and golden. And yeah, regretted that as soon as he was done. But apart from that, I've done Mainu today. I've started Mainu and I've spent a good 50k on it, which is okay. But he's actually really fun. If he had better stamina, I think he would be an outstanding card for the price he is.
Yeah, I think my main piece of advice on the Evo front is just wait until it's a player you're going to be happy with. I think the worst thing you can do, and I think we learned this last year, is just jump into a player because he looks good or he's got a bit of hype. I think save them. And remember, until you are literally in those last couple of days before you have to trigger and activate an Evo, it does you no harm at all to wait. And that's exactly what I'm doing because I'm waiting to see what the best combination can be, because I'm mostly saving it for Reading-based players. Nath, are you going in on anybody so far?
Yeah, so I've completed I think it's the Octopus one for Kobe Mainu as well. I'm now doing the chain for him. I think it's the box-to-box one as well to get him even better stats. I think once he's got that Relentless, he will be much better because his stamina is what lets him down. I've also got a Diego Dalot in the club, which I plan on doing. I can't remember what Evo it is, but it puts him up 2 points. So he's 84 rated with 89 pace and looks pretty solid throughout. So there's a bit of a theme. I think I'm going to try and, unless there's a ridiculously meta one that you must do, I'm going to try and do Man United players or Brentford players if I can. because when I was playing Rivals and getting hammered with the team, which I thought was better on paper, I went back to United and just enjoyed it with players that I've kind of got affiliation to.
Yeah, it's again, it's nice. It's more open, and I think there's less fear now this year that you're going to be trapped and blocked early. Although the limits on amount of plus positions, plus roles, is already something that's I've just kind of tweaked a little bit because there's some are saying, oh, they can only have 3 role pluses and things like that. So I think that might be this year's playstyle plus. It's interesting as well, gents. I think it was only really since actually getting into the game, Shaq, that I've noticed how few players seem to have actually been given a Playstyle Plus this year. EA have really drilled back on the Playstyle Plus front. I looked, and I think there's only something like 7 players to start this game that have something like Whipped Pass Plus.
Exactly, and there's only a few players with Finesse Shot that you can actually afford as well. I was just doing a quick look yesterday. Finesse Plus under 100k. The only 2 that I could think of was Lautaro Martinez and Harry Kane. That's the only 2 I could think of. So, and the next one up from there is, I think, Heung-min Son, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a huge price jump as well. So it's just very skimpy on some of the playstyle pluses, and which is, again, I think it's a good thing. But we will have to see how this actually pans out, because you don't want it to be where you're really restricted, and suddenly you have a glut of things that happen to you. So let's just hope that it happens, slowly.
Well, speaking of players that we've been eyeing up and liking the look of, it is time now for Player in Review. I'm glad I've now got a soundboard so I don't have to say that myself every week, even though it's my voice. I need to get John to record versions of all these ones for when I'm hosting. So, there's nice Dutch dulcet tones to break up my Berkshire drawl. Player in Review, gents. We've not picked out one player. It's a bit early to be kind of giving a detailed review on one particular player, but I just wanted to kind of talk through, some of the players that you've been impressed with or maybe not impressed with so far. Nath, start with you. Who's been standing out and who left you a little disappointed?
So my main one, I went and actually spent coins for once. I went and got Marcus Rashford for my United team, and actually he's ridiculous. His pace is very good. His power shots tremendous, and in the way they've got him set up, he's an inside forward, and he just drifts into space. So I think that's really good fun. There's been a few that I've been disappointed with for the price of him. I thought Rodri was fairly disappointing, which I know you guys will disagree. He was fine, but I thought for sort of 70k or whatever he is at the moment, I thought that was a lot when there's a lot of good players around at that time. Unfortunately, Matthias de Ligt, I really wanted to be amazing, and he's solid, but he doesn't turn. It's like he's got a truck on his back. So I ended up having to go to the blue side of Manchester, and I put John Stones in, who you can tell the difference. It doesn't look a massive difference on paper, but you can just feel the difference in game. And actually, Tim Howard's been a lot of fun as my goalkeeper as well. So I was really disappointed not to get a very good hero, but actually, I'll take a United past and present keeper with a long throw, and he's a little bit crazy. He does come flying out at times, but that's kind of how I played as well as a keeper, and I quite appreciate that.
Like it, Shaq. Who's on your success list? Who's on the naughty and who's on the nice list?
On the nice list, I think I have to mention Marek Hamsik. I was lucky enough to back him when I opened the back, and I didn't really know much how good he was going to be, because he was good in the past FIFAs, but this guy is really nice, especially at this stage of the game. He's got 5-star weak foot. He's got the power shot plus, which is amazing to have. And I think I went down the rabbit hole of trying to make him be the plus player that he wasn't, because every time his plus made him go to his half winger, so he goes down the wing. And I had Neymar and him bunched up together next to each other, and it wasn't working. And I was wondering why. Then I realized the system, how it all works through. And he's just been as a shadow striker. He just plays behind the striker. He's been scoring a lot of goals, and he's clutch goals as well. And one final tip I'll give as well is I've just gone ahead and bought myself an Osimhen from the transfer market as a super sub from the Turkish league. He's 87 rated and just costs about 10k. It's a really good fodder price as well. And he's a phenomenal super sub because he's got 89 pace. And at this stage of the game, it's just not fair to run with someone when they're really tired with 89 pace striker. Yeah.
There you go. Buy Victor Osimhen is one of our FUT Coaching's top tip. That sting's not going to get worn out at all over the next few weeks, I promise you. Players that I have liked and not liked. Again, a bit like you, Nath. I was actually pleasantly surprised with my hero. I got Sasic, who's a player I'd never heard of in real life. German striker, 88 rated. and she's just a really good all-round striker. She's quick enough. Striking a ball is phenomenal. Decent physicality. I kind of joked. I think she's only 5'8", 5'9", with aerial plus, and thought, what's the point in that? But she actually wins her fair share of headers. So I've been really impressed with her so far. Chloe Kelly, I'm going to put in the middle zone, not on the naughty or nice list. I can't believe they've taken whipped pass plus away from her. It's just lost her that little bit of an edge that I liked, but she is cheap enough and doing a decent job. Batcher, absolutely amazing left back once again. Please pick her up. And Marquinhos as a centre back as well. Again, not a lot of people have Inset Plus at the moment. I think the way he just seems to win balls is incredible. Kanate, half decent as well. Doku, I've seen a lot of people with a lot of love for Doku. He's in my team, but I'm not massively getting on with him. Although Shaq, there seems to be this little bit of a kind of glitch situation going on with Trickster, isn't there?
I'm not going to call it a glitch because that has really excited me. And I'm really, I think last year I didn't use skills as much as I would have and should have. And just having Neymar and using just a simple fake shot with someone with the Trickster Plus or Trickster even, it's a really cool animation of how they actually do this, the fake shot. It's just glides through the defense, especially if you do it right in the box or the edge of the box coming into the box. Oh, it just catches people off guard. And I hope it's not a glitch. I hope it's a real thing that stays forever because it's so good when it actually works. And it doesn't work every single time as well. So there's certain angles where it doesn't really work. If you're pressing turbo, it will just not work. So it's good. It's not well, it is fairly simple to do, but it works in certain situations better than others. So I think it's a good move. It's a really good move.
Gents, any suggestions for those people that will be picking up the game on Friday and have very kind of limited coins in those first few days? Is there any kind of those 1,000, 2,000 coin players that you used in those first couple of days that you recommend? Nate, anyone come to mind for you?
To be honest, there's absolutely hundreds of them. For a couple of thousand, like I've had Garnacho that's really cheap. I'm just going through like Kobe Mino, if you can Evo him, Gravenberg as well. They're still sort of 1k or so. Even cheapish, not super cheap, but Gyökeres, your old boy, I think, Dan. He is a menace. He's in lots of teams at the moment. So like you're getting them Coleman, Gundogan's at 87 rated. He's got slow pace, but he's pretty good elsewhere. Joe Gomez, again, the usual one, 4.3k. Lots of very cheap beasts that you're still seeing, Div 5's effectively kind of Div 1, Div Elite at the moment, and a lot of those players are still kind of getting the runs out in these squads. So I would just go onto one of these, FUT GG or FUTBin and sort by price. But there's lots of decent, affordable players just now, and 50k could get you a very strong, sort of slightly above starter squad, I think.
Oh, very much so. Shaq, any cheap beasts that you want to recommend?
Cheap beast, I think I would really like to recommend Dumfries. He's been doing a really solid job for me. He's got exactly the right kind of play styles as you would expect someone to have in a full back position that can actually play as a false back, and he can actually come back and be the third man. So you can have a 3-back setup just based on the way you can tinker with his positioning. And he's a really solid right back, can go forward, and he's only like 1,500 coins or 1,200 coins. The other player, I know, I don't really like. I just realized just now that he's actually extinct, which is weird, but he's 8,000 coins. Joel Hinton. He is phenomenal. He's worth his weight in gold. He's so good. He's really, really good. He will go down in price by the time full release comes through. Don't fob him off. He's actually really good. I forgot to mention the one player that really disappointed me. Just stay away from Darwin Núñez. He is horrendous in game. He is really, really bad.
You're just saying that as a United fan, aren't you?
No, I wish. That too. But
the Dar Wizzy. I've seen a fair few people. I think has he got an Evo version out?
Yeah,
he does. He does.
Yeah, his Evo's pretty solid, to be fair.
Yeah, his Evo is kind of Moani. I see a lot, and Timo Werner as well.
Yeah, not for me. Not for me that one. He doesn't move.
He doesn't move. Damning criticism there from Shaq.
He doesn't finish. That's all I want from a striker.
Well, I like in the mid-range. I like Wrighton, Chelsea winger. She was I managed to pick her up for about 9,000 coins. I think she's up it's kind of doubled that now, but still under 20k, still a great value for them. Hemp and Kelly, as I mentioned, are both are still very good, even though they both lost those whip passes. Plus, Ashraf Hakimi, he's down at 15k, well worth a pickup as well, in that kind of mid range as well. And then kind of the more expensive end, I've been very impressed with Rodri so far. It's a damn shame that it looks like he's going to be out for the season, because that will probably limit the amount of promo cards he gets this year. But as I said, but if I had to say one player for everyone to go out and get to just enjoy as an all-round player, it would definitely be Batcher. The love affair with Batcher continues into its second year with me and FUT, so she will not be leaving my team anytime soon. Some coins have been leaving my team anytime soon, Shaq, and I just kind of wanted to finish on a little bit of market. We used to do the trading show, which we've kind of put into retirement, given the kind of the very volatile nature and the whole time sensitiveness of what we do. But how have you found the market and making coins and keeping coins so far? Has it been what you expected, or are we on course for a different maybe markets what we've seen?
So far, the market's worked exactly the way. If you look at last year's graphs, then you compare day to day, even it's been exactly the same way. It started off really low and then suddenly shot off as soon as people got their full web app access and full gameplay availability. It just started to go up, and then it's trickled back down as more supply came through. And as expected, I've been telling we have a group chat that I was mentioning that everything will be the highest on Monday and it will plateau Monday, Tuesday. Exactly that happened. It stayed really high on Monday. The expectation was the way it's been rising, it'll continue to rise. It just plateaued, and as soon as it started plateauing, I just started getting rid of all the cards that I've packed, that I've held on for a while. And I was a bit late because I held on to cards like Neymar and the like a little bit longer than I should have. But yeah, it's having said that, now it's interesting because the market, as everyone expected, had gone down, and as of now, 10 minutes ago, I can see the market slowly starting to bounce back. So, what happens from here until content time is an interesting story. And if it keeps rising, and after content, if it takes a spurt and starts rising again, yeah, it'll go back up for a few hours at least.
Yeah, it's been quite the drop off just since overnight. I mean, I was up in the early hours at work this morning, buying and selling a couple of players, and already, that we're seeing, tens of thousands of coins wiped off certain players. I picked up an icon Frank Lampard for what I thought was a fairly decent price of $239 this morning, and already he's back down to around 200. So, ouch for me, hoping he will get a little rebound. I'm seeing the likes of Neymar going down as well. So there's a little bit of mini market panic going on as we record this right now. I see Jude Bellingham's had about 30k knocked off his price as well today. So whether this is a bit of a temporary blip, we're not sure. Again, the market is very volatile at the moment, but in general, most of the trading methods seem to be working from previous years. The best advice we can give you is to, if you do make an investment in a player, try and make sure it's a player that you can at least use. So in my case, yeah, I'm annoyed that I've just lost 40k plus on Frank Lampard, but he's going to go in my team anyway. So I'm still getting use out of him while I wait and see. Maybe he'll recover, maybe he won't, but at least I've got a decent player, rather than loading your club up with sort of 3 or 4 big high name players that maybe don't suit your style or don't suit your team, because it's a kind of a double whammy of pain on that front. Things like consumable trading. Again, if you want to make some easy coins, look for, especially at this stage of the game, have a look for players that have chem styles applied to them. So, for example, a Timo Werner with a with a hunter on it can make a good couple of K more than a Timo Werner without. And sometimes people are lazy listing. They'll list that. They'll just see, Timo Werner's going for 4K. They won't really care that they've already bunged a chemistry style on it. You pick it up for 4K and you might be able to sell it for 6K. So things like that. Don't sleep on cosmetic items either. Things like badges and kits, especially. It's at the start of the game where everyone's been focused on making coins to build their teams. But very quickly we'll get to that stage where people will then go, I actually want to play in the kit of my favourite team. I want to play in a Man United kit. I want to have a Man United badge as well. So those badges that were, you can pick up right now for 500, 600, 700 coins, very quickly in the next few weeks, that they will go up. Whether they go up by quite as much as previous years, that's not certain because of the amount of cosmetics that are appearing in packs right now. But they will certainly be above the level they're at now, because the supply we're getting on a daily basis from people spending, a lot of people are spending FIFA points. A lot of people are getting on new on the game every day, completing objectives, completing packs and things like that. And even my coveted bronze pack method has been making people money. I say as if it's as if I invented it. The method that I love to use every year. The SBC came out this week, a challenge SBC that had a 65 rated squad, and boom, you had certain bronze players going in for 4 figures. So lots of different ways to make coins out there, but don't be freaked out too much if you are losing a little bit. Try, and I'm going to take my own advice here, try and chill out about it and just relax. Gents, anything to add before we go, Nath? Start with you.
No, I'm quite intrigued to see how this game develops and even how some of the objectives develop as well. Like with Rush, like you said earlier, hopefully they keep it as a casual get rewards for just playing. Be interested to see if they keep the 15 wins or 45 points in Rivals, because I'm not 100% set that they will. And interesting to see with qualifiers how folk get on as well. So give us a bit of feedback on how you find the qualifiers, because I'm not sure I'm brave enough to venture there yet.
Yeah, well, please remember that Weekend League does not start this weekend. It starts the following weekend. So there is no need for you to absolutely rush into playoffs. And I looked at the rewards as well, Nate. They're not that good. So it's not even one of those modes where you should be like, oh, well, I'll fail it on purpose to get a few packs. I mean, I guess you could do it, but they're not sensational, even if you win 5 out of 5. Shaq, anything from you before we ride off into the sunset?
It's just basically the fact that I've realized that there's a lot more games to actually, if you want to complete the weekly cycle as such, it's a lot more games to complete as opposed to, I know there's less squad battle games as opposed to last year, but I didn't really do squad battles on a week-to-week basis, but just doing rivals and qualifying and champs and the rush games. Just be kind on yourself. You don't really have to get it all. And I'm trying to take a casual approach this year where I don't really try to get rewards or complete all the milestones on a weekly basis on every single angle. Just do what you can, and just be okay with not completing it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Very sound advice, my friend. My advice to everybody out there is to keep an eye on your podcast feeds, because as mentioned, the daily shows are going to be filling the gaps between our 2 regular sort of bigger shows. They're going to kind of be 15, 20-minute chunks, as you've already heard, and they'll just be rounding up the very latest content and kind of giving you a straight heads up, yes or no, should you be doing it? Again, John Lingby gave their opinions. The verdict was no on Haaland, but yes on the likes of Garcia and Navarro, and they gave their detailed reasons for that. So very much encourage you to check that out. The next one will be dropping. If you're not a Patreon member, that will be dropping on Thursday. And then the guys will return and record a main show on Friday night, rounding up all the content. We should have our first promo team of the year, as well as the sort of major full-on release for everyone. So there will be lots and lots to get into. Remember, loads of reasons to sign up for the Patreon, exclusive shows, early shows, access to meetups and things like that. Loads of great things coming up over the course of the year. Join the Discord. If not, it's absolutely free. And if you don't want to do any of those, just give the show a like, spread the word. And we very much appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who continues to support this show. Thanks again to FUT Coaching, who are the powers behind this very podcast. Follow us on socials at futinreview, whether that's on Insta, X, or wherever you get your socials these days. We'll return for the Tuesday Club, funnily enough, next Tuesday, unless you're hearing this on Wednesday. And in the meantime, gentlemen, just one thing left to do, Nath.
Drop it.
Shaq.
Drop it.
We are going to drop it.